Hello guys, so a lot of people are saying what is the difference between web server and an app server. So this video mainly talks to find out the responsibility of web server and app server. So first of all, before we start this video, we have to understand like this is our client application. First of all, we have to understand that client applications need some HTML, some CSS, some JavaScript. So all these things is basically served by the web server. So web server, the example of a web server in earlier days, you can say like IIS is a web server. So web server is mainly a client facing stuff, and he needs, his primary responsibility is to serve clients, and he to do that he can contact with some static page containers or static data containers, and he can generate, whatever the request is given from the client end, he is basically serving that request with the help of those things. Now we cannot make our web server thicker. That is not going to be a good design, and that's why another important thing is coming, another important component or layer is coming, that is basically app server. So normally what happened, like this web server creates a servlet request to this app server, and app server is basically process that request with that processing performs the business logics which is required for to serve that request. And to perform that business logic, app server needs to connect or needs to get connected with the database, and he needs to fetch some data which can suffice for some sort of calculation or processing. And then finally app server, whenever is done with his work, he is giving back that to the web server, and web server, after having that result, it gives and text required static pages and provides this to the client. So in that is kind of a general and very high level overview what app server and web server does. And the most important thing what I am trying to establish here is the responsibility. So the responsibility of web server is basically to, it is very close to client, so their responsibility is to serve the client with the UI content, serve the client with the static content. But if you talk about the core business logic part, if we talk about like how the request is getting processed, then the another layer is coming into the picture, and that is basically application layer, that is related to our application layer, that is app server, which might talk with a different database server, which might take help of different services as well. So that is the responsibility, like to perform the business logic, to maintain it the scalability, to maintain the latency perspective. After addressing all the business logic, he is also the design is done in such a way so that we can get different type of non-function, we are addressing different type of non-functional attributes like performance, scalability, security. So these are the major you can say architecture or the flow of app server and web server. It's going to be a very short video. Thanks a lot.